Nama Aizat bin Ruslan. My metric number 28C840. Today I record this video English Proficiency 2 video outline which was paperwork. My partner is HANAFI. I will talk about things of nature. Then we are going to discuss why flood often occur in Malaysia. Believe it or not, flooding is the deadliest type of severe weather. There's probably a lot about flood and flooding you don't know. Let's start with a flooding definition. A flood is an overflow of water that submerges land that is usually dry. Floods are an area of study in the discipline of hydrology. They are the most common and widespread nature severe weather event. Flood can look very different because flooding covers anything from a few inches of water to several feet. They can also come off quickly or build gradually. To better answer the question of what is a flood, we'll answer what each specific type of flooding event. There are several types of flood. For example, river flood, coastal flood, stream surge, inland flooding, and flash flood. Malaysia's climate is characterized by consistent temperature, high humidity, and plentiful rainfall. Floods are caused by heavy rain, which is a contributing element. However, in Malaysia, we need to have broader view. Flood area good for us. Living in Malaysia, tropical cyclone zone mean you get a lot of rain every year, ranging from 1,200 to over 4,000 millimeter. The northwest monsoon, which is come every year between November and March, provided monthly rainfall of up to 600 millimeter and pose a flood risk in low-lying area. Flash floods are common in metropolitan following heavy rain, causing property damage as well as challenges such as traffic congestion. So keep watching, we'll see why Malaysia is suffering from this tragedy. Furthermore, we can clearly see flood issue has worrying the public. This is because flash flood isn't something we can trace. It happened unexpectedly even in the city. Approximately flood in Malaysia will take place at 9,800 km or 6% from the surface area of the country. Big flood usually happening during monsoon season at northern because of the heavy rain in a long period of time. For example, like Johor, Pahang, Kelantan, Terengganu, Sabah, and Sarawak. Bahkuni happened in 2014, remain as a bad memory and affected most of Malaysians, especially then from Kelantan. Bahkuni had demolished almost all these cities in Kelantan, especially Gua Musan, Kuala Krai, Pasemah, Tumpak, Tanah Merah, Kota Baru, and Macan. It has caused property damage and infrastructure, but most heartbreaking is many lost their lives. To be exact, flood happening in 2014 as or also called as Bahkuni is not the first time happening in Malaysia. We had faced flood from the early 1800s and there are some big flood happening like Bah Merah, that happening in 1927 and it affected 1,500 people.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. To my dom SALMI BINTI HUSSAIN. Okay, today I HANAFI bin ZULKEFLI with lecture number 286-237 will explain why do the floods always happen in Malaysia. Heavy rains. There are many other reasons why flood can occur or happen in Malaysia. Okay, one of the reasons that me and Aizat discussed, there are an unplanned construction. This unplanned construction has resulted in many trees being cut down to open up the new area. Okay, due to the loss of a lot of trees, it might cause a flash flood because there is no rain catchment area. Okay, for example, we can see this situation in Cameron Highlands, which is very rapidly developing and uncontrollable. The original forest was cut down and the hillside cleared and caused soil erosion, which led to flash floods or mudslides. Okay. Okay, for the next reasons, why do the floods always happen in Malaysia? Me and my team, Aizat and Ruslan, already discussed that the drainage system is not properly maintained. It's also one of the reasons why flood do happen in Malaysia. This is often the case in the city like Kuala Lumpur, Shah Alam, and other places. The drains filled with the rubbish make the trenches easily clogged and easily filled with the dirty water. This rubbish can lead to flash flood at the city. Okay. Lastly, the climate change is also can be one of the cause of flood in Malaysia. This climate change we can see from global warming, melting ice in the North Pole and South Poles as a result of global warming has resulted in rising seawater levels. Okay, this makes the area close to the seawater area easily to get flood, especially if you live in beach or if you live near to the river. Okay, that's all for the reason why the floods always happen in Malaysia. Okay, in this video I will give you the effects of flood. This flood has had some adverse effects on the people in some countries like Malaysia, our country itself. Stagnant floodwaters for too long in agricultural areas cause plants to die easily or instantly die. This incident left the farmers unprofitable because they can't make money from the plants because the plants already died. Okay, the next effect is farm animals will also die from being trapped in flood waters because they live in a barn, right? Okay, as a result, animal breeders will lose hundreds of dollars or thousands of dollars and many more. This massive flood can also cause losses to all residents. This is because this flood will damage essential items such as clothing, houses, cars, motorcycle, and any other expensive electrical items. Public property will also be damaged by the flood. This flood will also lead to dangerous disease outbreaks. This result in high maintenance costs because they had to search for the cure and the vaccinated for the disease. Okay, that's all for the effects. Thank you. Okay, in conclusion, we already discussed that the Malaysian flood disaster has resulted in hundreds of millions of ringgit in losses, and even more unfortunate, resulted in death thousands of people are homeless. The flood victims did not have anything more because of the flood destroy their properties, their home, their growth, their car, and everything more. We hope all government parties and other parties must play an important role in order for this flood event to be addressed and avoided in the future. Okay, that's all from us. Thank you.